Hello and welcome back to Buckle Up. I'm Harry King and this is a Mercedes-Benz Vito panel van. Let's see if it's any good. So as usual, we'll start here at the front. This is a top spec van. They call it Pro and Select over at Mercedes. So it gets body coloured bumpers. These are plastic on the Pro model. It has a new grille for 2024, slightly new grille, to bring it more in line with the rest of the Mercedes-Benz range. You also get a honking big badge, a front camera, I'll get more onto that later, and multi-beam LED headlights, which they're very proud of, so they've written it on the outside of the van. Also on this model you get 17-inch alloy wheels. These would be steel wheels on the Pro model, and actually you get a lot fewer configurations than you do with most other vans. So they've actually reduced that number in the most recent facelift as well. So there's one height only, 1.9 meters, and you can either have an L2 or an L3, but you're not allowed an L1 anymore. So it's medium or long for some reason. Apparently no one bought the other one, and all Vitos are rear-wheel drive now, unless you buy the electric one, but we have another review on that. So rear-wheel drive, 2-litre engines, and then round at the back you get the badging that actually tells you about the power of that engine. So this is available as a 114, a 116 or a 119. But what that means is either 136 horsepower, 163 horsepower, or this 119, which gets 190 horsepower. Lovely. This is a van, of course, though. So I'll open it up and show you the vaniness of it. These doors open 180 degrees and there's no fiddling for a little thing to push to make that. It just happens. It just happens. It's all happening. Where's the door handle? There. Look at that. A big wide open space. You can have up to 6.6 cubic meters of things in here if you buy the biggest van. This though is an L2. And I don't have a spec sheet for this van, thank you Mercedes, so I can't tell you exactly what the load capacity of this one as it sits here is. But it's less than 6.6 cubic meters. You also, very nicely, you do get side doors on both sides as standard, which look a little something like this. This is it's a magic trick. Here I am in the van. And here I am out of the van. Vanjic. That sounds rude. You also get, as standard, a wood floor, which is nice. You won't dent your van when you're putting heavy items in it. And you get a bunch of tie-down points so you can secure your load. No one likes a loose load. Shall we see though what the cabin's like? So in standard van fashion you get 3 seats here in the front. That's across both spec levels. You also get this bulkhead as standard on this panel van. And it does make it a little bit cramped. So I'm sat as far back as I can go with this bulkhead at the moment. And I fit just about, but I'm 180 centimetres. So if you're taller, you might struggle. It's also quite a low roof for a van. So getting in and out, you have to duck your head quite a lot. And you don't get any overhead bins like you do in a lot of rivals. You do get a lot of other storage though. So there's 2 cup holders up here on the dashboard, as well as kind of 3 general bins that you can stick stuff in. Of course, you've got a glove box. It's an okay size, but not massive. You've got a little tray down here that you put your phone in, along with 2 USB-Cs and a 12-volt charger down there. And you have 2 tiers of door pockets with a cutout for a bottle as well. There is no fold-down centre armrest section. None of these seats turn into a table. The steering wheel doesn't turn into a table. I know Ford are very proud of that on their vans. So it's pretty good in the general scheme of things, but I think it's lagging behind some key rivals. Where it's not lagging behind is this infotainment system. This is the latest Mercedes-Benz MBUX system. It's very good, very responsive and smooth. It's a 10.25-inch screen. You have another screen in the center of your dials, but they are analog dials still. And also with this, you get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. And all of this comes on the base spec van as well as this one. I've got a leather wrap steering wheel on this Select model. It's heated. There's a button here on the side. I also have heated seats. Weirdly, for a van, I get paddle shifters. But we'll explore them more on the drive, shall we? The seating position is good though. I like it. You're high up like you expect to be in a van. Fully adjustable seat. It's all manual apart from the lumbar support, which is electronic. These also adjust a little bit all manual, but obviously they are attached to each other, so you can't independently do the middle and the outer seat. But you know what? Should we go for a drive? Well, here we are behind the wheel of the Mercedes Vito in 119 engine spec. So to run you through that, that's 190 PS, 440 newton meters of torque, which is plenty, though you want that in a van, and 0 to 62 in 9 seconds, which is not really relevant to anyone, but there you go. 9-speed automatic gearbox. Only the base engine comes with a manual these days. Everything else has this auto. Now, let's talk about load and capacity. So this is actually down on a lot of rivals. Depending on your spec, you'll get around 970 kilos in the back. If you go for a tow pack, you can get a 2.5 ton towing limit. Without that, it's 2 tons. So again, a little down on some of the rivals. What this does offer, that I don't believe any other van in this segment offers, is rear-wheel drive. All the other vans are either all-wheel drive or front-wheel drive. So if you're dead set on having a rear-wheel drive van, this is your one-stop shop. Because it's a Mercedes also, I only have one stalk behind the steering wheel for indications and wipers, because the other one is the gear selector, or drive selector I should say. So if you don't like that, then also don't buy a Ford Transit or a VW Transporter, because they have the same thing. Well, the new Transporter will anyway, because it's a Ford Transit underneath. I've got climate controls though that are in the proper place, so I don't have to fiddle about in the screen. I do have to fiddle about in the screen though if I want to change the music while I'm driving. On Android Auto, you have to physically press the skip button on the screen. There's nothing on the steering wheel to do skipping with, which I find a really weird omission from the van. Now, smart cruise, stuff like that, you do have radar cruise control in here. It works very well. The steering is really lovely and light, and the seat's comfortable and you have a lot of adjustment. So actually, this is quite good to do long distances in. I've done quite a lot of driving this week in this van, and it's very, very comfortable. The suspension is well judged as well. It's not too juddery, even with the load bed empty, and it actually doesn't even roll that much in the corners. As I said, the steering's very light though, it's not full of feel or anything. The brake and accelerator also feel absolutely fine. Nothing special about them per se, but they work as expected. It's nice though, putting your foot down and having 440 newton meters of torque pushing you down the road. It's a reassuring feeling of acceleration. Now the other thing, that obviously if you're a van driver you'll know this already, but this is big. It's over 2 meters wide, it's nearly 2 meters tall, it's 5 meters long, over 5 meters long, even in the L2 variant. So, in town work, tight car parks, it's a bit of a struggle. You do have, though, surround view cameras on this van, which are really handy, and they work really well. You get a full 360 view. So, if you need to navigate through a multi-storey car park, which I did this week because I'm a moron, then you can just about get away with it by doing some very careful driving and using the cameras. Of course, with the solid bulkhead, you don't get a central rear view mirror, you only get the side mirrors. So again, it's very handy for replacing that, even though on the Pro, you still get the reversing camera as standard. So you don't have to worry about the no mirror thing if you're worrying about that for some reason. Now we're on a slightly more dynamic piece of road, so let's push it. Hang on, I'll switch it to sport mode. There we go, sport mode. I've got my steering wheel paddles. I'll drop a cog. Whoa! They do not react quickly. Jesus. Okay, yeah. Well, I'll leave it in sport mode for now, but the pedals don't. They seem to work on suggestion rather than direct command. Oh, I'm being held up by someone in a Ford Focus. Nightmare. I guess we won't be able to push it to the limit today, lads. But you know what? It's very calm. It feels planted on the road. I'm not feeling it blow about or anything, even though it's high-sided, relatively. Though I suppose it's quite low for a van because of this low roof line. But it's, I mean, in terms of general cars, it's tall, isn't it? And also, even though it's quite wide, it's very easy to position on the road because the sides are completely flat. But you know what? That's enough nattering from me. Should we go back and do a conclusion? So, the Vito. What am I thinking? Well, it's priced a bit higher than some of the key rivals, but it's got premium appeal. That's a Mercedes badge on the front there, if you're not aware. And it does back it up with a really nice, refined drive. It's very, very comfortable. It'd be great to do long distances in. The engine is nicely efficient. It's very quiet on the road. The downside, as far as I'm concerned, is no skip button. That's a big one for me. And then also slightly cramped in the cabin, which will only really affect the panel van. So just to make up for that, I'll probably review the crew cab one at some point in the future. But with everything considered, it's still a thumbs up from Buckle Up. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe. If you go down into the description, you'll find all the links to all our social medias. Please follow us there as well. We also have 2 ways that you can support the channel. So we have channel memberships right here on YouTube, and we also have merchandise. So please go and do one or all of those things, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.